At every point in my business, I've evaluated and cut off weak links. There's no need to hold on to a sick arm of the business. It may mean that people are consolidating and having to drive all the way. But trust me, if they know that the quality that they're going to receive, my women haven't had a problem coming over to places where. So at every point in time, and then, overheads in Nigeria it's ridiculous. You pay diesel in a month, you can run in about 1.2 million. What are you selling?
Makeup.
What? So you are selling because we're not working on site. And that's the reality. A lot of the work that we do is not on site.
Hey guys, welcome to How They Did It with TriciaBiz. On this show, I take you behind the scenes of successful African entrepreneurs, change makers, and creators, showing you the journeys that led to their success. Today we're live in the city of Lagos and I'm standing in one of the retail spaces of the fabulous BM Pro. Now today I get to sit down and talk to her to understand how she started from the ground up, how she's been able to do this thing called face beating for almost 30 years, and what she really knows that's helped her do over 20,000 faces and more. Let's go find out how she did it. Let's go! All right, guys, so we have the delectable Banke Meshida Lawal.
Hi.
Awesome to have you. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
Fantastic. I'm in love with the BM Pro brand. And
thank you.
It is exciting to sit down here with you and just, talk about the journey, right? So let's go from the beginning. I hear that you all started in Miami.
Yes. Oh my God.
University of Lagos.
Humble beginnings. Yes. So I was this person who always had to have makeup on going to class.
Why?
And I mean, I was intrigued with packaging. I think that's what drew me to makeup. So I'd buy all this makeup and try it on myself and, of course, practice on my roommates. I'd even beg them, please, can I try this eyebrow? Can I try this eyeshadow? Some would blow me off, some would sit. And that was how I started. Made a lot of friends. So every time there was a club party, people would come to me and, ask to help them do their makeup and hair. When I graduated, I was always busy, and it was just the next thing to do, really.
Right. So what did you study?
I studied English. So I had a lot of time on my hands to to do what I loved doing. And of course, my course mainly was reading and appreciating literature. And then at the end of the semester, we would appreciate it. So it was a very good balance for me.
Interesting. So you finished school. How did you then decide to take it full on as a business?
Like I said, I was always busy. In fact, I remember those days, clients would come to my house to have eyebrows done and makeup done. And then my father had said to me, you need to move this thing out of this house. I mean, I was using my bedroom. So people would be in the living room and people would come right in and, so I had saved all my funds whilst I was in school. Once I graduated, I opened my first store on Romans Road. It was a very tiny store, but the location was good. And that was just how it went from being a home studio to an actual makeup studio.
So this was what year?
This was in the year 2000. Yes,
2000.
Yes.
Wow. So it's been over a decade.
Yes.
Having that
a store.
Yeah, having a studio. Okay, so it's now a business. You have a studio. How did you decide what the brand name would be, and how were you able to attract people to the studio?
I think, of course, my name is Banke Meshida. I was Banke Meshida then. So the BM is from my name and then the professional. But my mom helped with that, and also my boyfriend then, who's now my husband, Lanry. So I mean, he's always been this person who would he knew what my dreams were, and he did everything to help. In fact, I remember then Lanry occasionally would drive me to my work. So if I had a job in Festac. I didn't know that route. He would drive me, and we pretty much started everything together. I've always had support, so I think that also helped bolster my confidence to go on and do what I wanted to do. So how did I transcend into this? In 2005, I decided to look for factories that would create makeup for me. So I started with sort of like private labeling. I found companies who did private label, and I purchased some of their formulas. But as time went on, I realized that I wasn't the only person they were selling to. So that made me want to move away from the finished products. Also looked for factories who would do what I wanted. Of course, it was a lot more capital intensive, but like I said, I'm a saver. And of course, there were no bank loans then, so it was make money, put it right back in. And it's very important to say that then when I was saving, I didn't have help financially. There were no banks. My parents, they supported me morally. So everything was organic. It was plowed back into the business and the capital taken to do what I wanted to do. So 2005, I had my first launch of products.
Okay.
I had the event at Robert's Cafe in VI, and everything sold out.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So I realized that, okay, there's something here. Let's and I've always purchased, resold, use the profit to purchase more. And that's been my business model even till date.
Great. So you've never taken a...
They won't give me. They won't give me. They told me to go and bring my mother's liver, part of her kidney. It's not... I realized that the financial institutions are not too friendly to small
business.
Yes, especially beauty. You want to take a loan of 500 million for... They don't see it. It's not a commodity, but it's luxury. And the wise economies, they've tapped into that. Hopefully soon Nigeria will tap into that before we get tired.
Interesting. So it's all organic.
It is.
Great. So how, anytime that, people mention the name Banke Meshida, is always tied to doing makeup for the celebrities, the A-listers, the first ladies and co. How did you get to have, a clientele list that is made up of the high and mighty?
I went to Queen's College, and then I went to University of Lagos. I had a lot of acquaintances back in school. I wasn't a social butterfly, but I made key friendships there. And those friendships did help, I must say, because my work at the beginning was mostly referrals. I didn't advertise. I just had photos. I've always had photos of my clients. So after a session, I'd bring out my small camera, I'd take a picture. And then I had this album that I carried around all the time. So with every bride, my album was there for everyone to flip through. And then connections were made. So you see that I started advertising organically as well. And then you look at the photo, you look at the makeup that I've just done, you're sold. Again, great friendships at the beginning of my career. That has really helped. And of course, everyone knows a good thing
when they see it.
Yes, when they see it. So you know a beautiful lady, you don't have to explain. It's now these days that you have to explain the beauty. You have to I have to tell you why the brows are not done, and tell you it's soft. It's not nice. But beauty was beauty unexplained.
Yeah.
It should, that's as it should be.
So now there's an explanation for everything.
There is. Why do you look like this? Sometimes I see some. Why? But you can't be too vocal these days. Otherwise, you're body shaming someone.
Yeah, true. So is there like any secret or any trick or tip, to working with the high and mighty? Because some people would say that there's certain behaviors or there's certain attitudes that you should bring to the table if you're working with people in a certain class.
I'm a very I'm an easygoing person. I can't tell you that you should be a certain way if you want to work with the high and mighty.
Okay.
No, you should just be this
Yourself.
person that they're comfortable being with in their space. And I'm not pushy. I'm very patient. Sometimes I'll give you an example. These days I see some makeup artists, they complain about waiting for their clients. I didn't have a problem waiting for you. If I was booked, I would have paced myself. So I wouldn't overbook myself and then start to rush the client.
Next appointment.
Yeah, so there's a skill set to some of these things, and no one taught me. So they're even lucky now. We would organize seminars where we talk about, business etiquette and all of that. But like I said, at the beginning of my career, I was just this person who many people were drawn to, and I just there's no secret. Maybe I went to school with some of them. And then it was easy for me to just be this person that they would call to come sort them out on their special days.
So building relationships is key.
It is key. And maintaining those relationships
is key as well.
Yes.
Fantastic. So how do you manage with staff? Because many service businesses complain, about staff, coming to learn the craft or the trade and then taking clients or, just doing the most. So, how are you able to get good hands? Do you have to train everybody who comes through your doors? And how do you retain?
So, we're 23 years
23.
In the business and almost 30 in makeup artistry. And I can tell you that my secret seems to be the fact that I'm the one that knows the sort of style that we're going to be doing at BM Pro.
Okay.
I'm the one that would train. So it's my type of makeup that all staff would do. That being said, I also encourage my staff to have their own signature because they're not going to be here forever. And I expect that you come in here, you learn, you work, if the terrain is favorable, and you move. So it's very important to say this because I don't even think it's a generational thing. I think it's a personal thing. It's a personal character flaw. That a lot of the people that are in the beauty industry, when they go somewhere, they work, they learn. Some don't care to maintain that relationship, and then they see the boss as their enemy. If I was the enemy that's being painted, sometimes, I've heard, I wouldn't still be thriving. Like I said, I can't possibly do everything. And I expect to have people around me who I have trained to replicate the signature and yet leave and go and flourish on their own. So we do have some successful artists that have come in here and learned and have gone on their own. And of course, we have some people who they've left and you can't even, there's no connection. It's possible to have a decent parting relationship with somewhere that you've worked. It is possible. I have some people like that. But I've resigned to the fact that there's some things I won't beat myself about. And I just keep going.
So what processes have you put in place to ensure that, while the artists are here, they're working according to how the organization has laid out work for, and that things like theft are minimal or totally abolished?
So there's a structure and there are do's and don'ts, like every organization has. We have the HR department who is not averse to laying anyone off. In fact, I'm the one that pleads and says give people a second chance. I'm very hands-on in my business. So in as much as I have people do that, I also occasionally would just go there on my own and look at things.
Interesting. So if we take it a step back, right? You started your first physical location at Romance. So how's the business scaled from there, physical locations wise?
Okay, so we opened Romans and then we moved to another location, and then I opened a branch in Ikeja.
Okay.
I opened at Glover in Ikoyi. We had Dolphin, and then we had Abuja, and then we had distributors. We have distributors. But just before COVID, I I went to my Ikeja branch, and I walked into the bathroom, and the wallpaper in the bathroom was torn. There was a bucket in there. The flush was bad.
Oh.
And they didn't think to call a plumber to do all of that. I think for me, I think I closed down Ikeja because of that.
Wow.
Because you see, for if an arm of a business is struggling, you're already dealing with that. And then you go in there and your standards are not being maintained. I don't care whether everyone thinks you should have a legacy and all of those things. I have my opinion about legacies and Nigerian businesses. I'll come to that.
Okay.
I went home. I spoke to my husband. He was like, just calm down. I think 2 weeks later, I just called a moving truck and I packed everything. I didn't even tell the staff. When they came, they saw, what's going on? Eventually, I told them, we're shutting down. If any of you still needs your job, you go to HR and you reapply, and then we'll absorb you into the other branches. Of course, I didn't absorb any of them back into the business because the investment to get a store in GRA, we're competing with Ikoyi. In fact, I think GRA is even more expensive than Ikoyi. So for me, for the company to invest in that, and then I'd even hear reports that, I'm here, occasionally a client will call me, I'm at the GRA store, there's no makeup artist here. I've had my appointment booked, your people are not here. And I'm thinking, how can the store not be open at 10 o'clock? Or some people will complain that, I don't like the style of makeup they're doing there. It's not aligning with Dolphin. Some people drive all the way from GRA to come to Dolphin to come and to have their makeup done with other artists. They just didn't hold up the business ethics. They didn't hold up our signature, our commitment to serving. They didn't have any of that. And so I shut it down. Same thing with Glover. We opened to serve the community of people that couldn't drive all the way to Dolphin because, U-turn and everything. So we had this boutique store in Glover. And then, of course, as everything, the rent was increased. And I just thought, increase in rent to justify this little cubicle. And occasionally, so we would have that, there's no makeup artist here. They've gone to do their own work or whatever. I shut it down. The online arm of the business was doing well. So at every point in my business, I've evaluated and cut off weak links. There's no need to hold on to a sick arm of the business. It may mean that people are consolidating and having to drive all the way, but trust me, if they know that the quality that they're going to receive, my women haven't had a problem coming over to places where. So at every point in time, overheads in Nigeria it's ridiculous. You pay diesel in a month, you can run in about 1.2 million. What are you selling?
Makeup.
What? So you are selling because we're not working on site. And that's the reality. A lot of the work that we do is not on site. It's home calls and destination and all of that. So why should we then take that funding and go and be paying?
Investing in space.
Exactly. So easily I would make those decisions, and I think I'm a risk taker. I can, as long as I'm healthy and as long as I have 3 or 4 capable hands with me, anything is possible.
Good.
Yeah.
This is me interrupting your watch time to tell you to like this video, share it, and also subscribe to my channel. You're still watching How They Did It with TriciaBiz. Okay, so if we look at the different streams of the business, which for you contributes the most, and what's the next? So Is it products? Is it service? If it's service, is it on-site or off-site?
I think they're all tied. Our products are doing very well. So, like I said, we have distributors. We
Okay.
retail with. We have concessions with some people. So that goes on irrespective of whether we're offering services or not. But of course, the arm of the business that is responsible for marketing and showing the world our skills is the actual makeup artistry. But I've evolved. I do a lot of photography now, and I'm able to create my style of makeup and photograph it the way that I want to be, and I have a lot of willing clients who love that. So, like I said, the business is evolving. We're doing a lot of that, and it's no slowing down.
Right. So you say so they're all apart.
They're all at par because
Kind of.
the what products bring to the table is huge. Products is capital intensive to create and produce, and then we're able to sell, and it's a joy. What we do, like for example, our foundations, they're sort of in between tones. So products that you won't find in other brands, you'll find with us, and that's because I've created them from my heart. Like I've given it to Nigerian women. Example, we have this foundation called Paris. Paris is so yellow, and it's full coverage. And a lot of people come and say, "Oh my goodness, I love Paris. It doesn't turn red. It covers. It's a little goes a long way. It's my perfect yellow. It's adaptive." So there are a lot of good reviews on our product, and that's an easy sell when it comes to makeup products.
Interesting. So, how will you say you've been able to market to stay on top of the game? Because there are many brands who, they're, pioneers, or they started the industry pretty early, but they're no more, or, we just don't hear about them again. So what do you think for you has helped marketing wise to stay on top of the game and still be relevant almost 3 decades later?
I think because I'm very involved in the business, and like I said, I just want to make you beautiful. I don't have. I think that's the secret. You see a beautiful woman, and you know that it's a BM Pro makeup. You can easily recognize the BM Pro makeup signature. And of course, the sort of people that I've worked with. You know that thing they say, people that fight your battles, be in a room where someone is. That happens to me, and I'm so thankful because a lot of these women don't have to push. They don't have to even, but they would always market. Oh, Banke did my makeup. Oh, you should try her. And every time there's negativity, oh. In fact, there was a day I was doing a client's makeup, and a lady came in and said, I actually came here to check whether this makeup actually looks like this or it's Photoshopped, because we've all just concluded that it's Photoshopped. And I said to her, look at it, move close to her. And she's like, okay, she actually looks like how she looks in photographs. And there's no need for, let's make that Photoshop. It's good, but you ought to be able to create that face and have the wearer experience such confidence that she feels unstoppable.
Wow. Let's talk about price.
Okay.
So there's been like several conversations around why is makeup so pricey? Why does BM Pro charge a lot of money just to put powder on the face? Have you been able to, get to the point where you're like, this is what our work is worth, and we're going to stand by it, even though, other people feel like they can charge less, but no, this is where I want to be, and I'm going to be there.
It's been a 28-year journey. I've been here forever. And I think that I know the value of the clients that I'm working for. So I know to create a face that would match the entire ensemble. And for me to get to that, I'm going to be using premium or even drugstore makeup, but it's the skill. It is that skill. It's the flick of the eyebrow. It's the quality of the lashes you're going to use. It's the way you blend and seamlessly create the face where it's not going to melt once they get into heat. It's technical know-how of products. I'm a manufacturer, so I know that if I want if I want a face to be waterproof, I'd probably add silicone or some other ingredient, and then that determines the cocktail of products I'm going to use to create that face. So everything is together. I know the value of what I do. Maybe in the circles that I've been in, I know it's been greatly appreciated. And you have someone who has an ensemble of what? Maybe the entire outfit is about $20,000. She's not going to want you to use products that 300 naira in the market. She's going to want the top of the range. And I have that. I always say, you see all of these deporting, make everything travel size. I want to see my black cup, all the bottles laid down, House Labs, BM Pro, everything. I want to see the product. So a makeup session is a luxury. It's not if you don't do it, you won't die.
No, you won't.
Exactly. It's not it's what we do to make ourselves feel good. And that's what it should be. People sleep in my chair. In fact, some clients say to me that before an event, when you do my makeup, I'm so together. I forget all my sorrows. I forget all the stress. And I'm so happy because we spend those 2 hours, we do what we want to do. It's therapeutic. Some people talk to me, we advise each other, and it's a feel-good thing. And that my makeup artistry, it's a feel-good peel. It's not rice and stew that if you don't eat it, you're going to be hungry. So that knowledge is what I apply into what we do here. And making my staff also see this vision, that's a task. But I've been able to do that to an extent. It doesn't stop. I say to my team, when someone comes in to have their makeup, we should follow up. You should reach out and say, oh, how was your makeup? Did it melt? Didn't it melt? It helps you, the artist. Feedback. And then it also lets the client know that these people care about me. I'm not just a figure. So those are the things that we keep on doing. Like I say, value. I know the value of what we do. And then we serve. I've identified who we want our clientele to be from onset. People who appreciate good makeup artistry. That's who
you want.
Yeah, that's what I want. I don't want someone that, I think we're gone past that whole comparing, oh, but this person will do it for me for less. We could just quietly go there. But if you want our signature, you're with us.
What are the average prices? What are the average prices that you charge?
So it's in studio makeup is about 25,000. Home house calls, depending on location, starts from 40,000. And it goes.
And it goes all the way up.
It goes all the way up.
So let's say that, I wanted to do my wedding in the Bahamas and I wanted you to come do my makeup. What part of my body should I
Who knows? You could get a freebie. I could be in a good mood and, okay, let's do this. But of course, travel expenses and all of that, those are the things that will determine, how what your bill will be like. But it's doable. It's, everything that one sets their mind to is what you do.
So what do you advise, makeup artists who are just starting, in terms of charging their worth and just staying the course of the journey?
One thing I've always done is I've never looked at what the next person is doing. Never, ever. these days I see people say, "Oh, go and look at what your competition
Competition is doing.
I don't care what my competition is doing.
Hmm,
I've never
interesting.
cared. Yes, and that has given me the strength to be where I am today. I've grown. In fact, I think not knowing what is going on around me has helped to keep me laser focused on my artistry, growing my business, and just doing what I want to do. Makeup artistry is fueled by passion, you know, and passion can be detrimental or otherwise. Passion is what makes you work without getting paid.
Paid, yes.
Exactly. And if you need to have a bit of that if you're an artist. But that being said, you also need to manage your business. I've always had people manage my business. I've always had staff that I I can do your makeup free, but I have staff that say, "Madam,
No.
no." So I've always had strong people in the business that know the books, they know the expenses, they know that refuel energy is expecting 2 million for diesel. So, madam, let your head be correct. So if you're starting out as a makeup artist, have someone manage your finances. It can be offline. You can get an online assistant who only is looking at figures. Expenses this month has to be lower than income. And they will help to keep a balance. Be passionate about what you do. Passion is what will wake you up at 4 a.m., go to one location, come back, have another one, you work late. And then you should have a good support business system, a very good support system. I've always been blessed with that. I've never taken it for granted. I have 2 daughters. When they were growing up, my husband was the girl daddy. He was the one that did swimming lessons. I didn't even, I beg, I'm tired when I come home. But as they've grown older, the roles are sort of changing. You know, they're becoming women, and I think my husband is even running away from But he's always been very supportive. In fact, sometimes I'll just come with one project. We need to get this product. All our savings, my husband will give me to go and do it. Thankfully, we've always made returns on it. But if I didn't have someone that was willing to do stuff for me at the drop of a hat, I won't be where I am today. And find capital intensive, like I mentioned earlier. A good support system is everything, and then your personal drive. What wakes you up in the morning? If you want to be a makeup artist, it has to be that your artistry, the clients that you're going to meet, how you're going to make them happy. I'm very happy when my clients are happy. It's like I've given them a new lease of life. And then, of course, having great clients who give you good feedback and feedback when you've been bad. I've had my share of being naughty, but I have people who've been able to rein me in and also support my business. So if you're starting out, know your value, know your worth, be passionate about that thing you want to embark on, which is artistry, and then please just do beautiful makeup. There's something we all know. You look very beautiful. Your makeup is matte, your brows, your lashes, everything is in place. It's all blended nicely. There's no overpowering gold. They tell you want to slick you. Who? So let your makeup be just beautiful, and your face you should emerge and nobody is like,
What's this?
yes. You say a lot of exactly. And then they'll tell you, oh, it's the highlighter, it's meant to blind. Who is your enemy? No, but there's
Okay, so we are standing in one of your retail spaces. So how are you able to enforce the high standards that you are known for across the locations that exist now?
Okay, so we have roles. We have assigned roles to people to enforce
Okay.
As our business, how do you call it now? Our business etiquette.
Okay.
So, for example, the products have to be arranged in a certain way. For the in retail, you walk in, the artists have to look a certain way,
Okay.
and of course that's not always easy. But if there's an enforcement officer, we get around it. It's no easy feat, but it's doable, and we're doing it.
Okay. So what challenges have you faced running this business for decades in a country called Nigeria?
Carrying people along on this journey, it hasn't been easy, and making people see my vision. We're blessed, like I say, with great team members who you don't have to explain and keep talking to. Once you say it once, they run with it. But there are some, I always say, mentally challenged members of staff who you always have to hold their hand and say, I want you to do this, you're going to do this. If you don't do this, there's consequences for doing that. It's not been easy, it's hard work, but it's doable. Like I say, we're doing it. I seem to be repeating myself.
Yeah. How are you able to keep overheads low, seeing as the cost of living is almost double?
Okay, if you look at this retail space, I've made it very practical. Of course, you see the prototype of makeup studios. It's very fantastic. But in Nigeria, they're not going to maintain it. So you ship in all of these boards with the branding, it's acrylic. You walk in and it's dirty. You walk in, it's broken. It has to be replaced. You can't replace it locally because you imported it. I don't want to give myself headache. So I've kept things minimal, practical, cleanable. That way, the studio is clean. It's practical and it's easy to maintain. That has always been my mantra, and I think that's worked for me.
So where do we see this business? Where is it headed in the next decade, or entering another decade?
Yes.
What are your plans? Are you retiring?
Well, not retiring, but maybe changing the direction that the business is going.
Okay.
I've always evolved. What I was doing 5 years ago is different from what I'm doing now, and I think because of the fact that BM Pro keeps reinventing, people keep waiting and watching to see what next, and that has kept things exciting. We do more. I personally do a lot of photography, like I said. I want to create a face with rhinestones or paint or whatever, and I have willing muses who would gladly sit for me just to see how they would look being photographed in another style, another dimension, and it just keeps things exciting. It's not run of the mill.
Do you think it's mandatory for a makeup artist, people in the makeup artistry business, to also be keen on photography?
No, it's not. It's not mandatory. If you're not geared toward doing that, because photography it's not an easy thing. You have to have a keen eye for picking details, and there's some details I would pick in a photograph that somebody else may not necessarily see. Even photographers don't. I found that they don't always see my vision as a makeup artist, which is why I've just carried the camera and I've started to photograph my work the way I want it to look. And of course, the end result is that the clients are very happy because, I'll give you an example. We have a shoot. We have someone who's planning to wear, maybe 6 outfits. She just doesn't want one brown makeup and that's it, because it's not about the clothes. It's about her. Different characteristics, different facets to her persona. I would recreate and then present her with that. So you may have photos of her nude, you may have stones, you may have color, you could photograph shadows, different emotions. I would convey that in a photograph. But the important thing is for you to create and create excellent work, and which is what I aim to do all the time.
Okay, we're almost there. I see that you're huge. Like, I don't know if huge is the right word, but you're huge on social media. Instagram is your thing.
Yes.
Will you say Instagram has helped the business, reach more people or grow? And what do you think you've done right on Instagram that has made it this amazing place for you?
So I started in the days of Facebook.
Uh-huh.
I never, there was MySpace, but Instagram was very easy. I mean, I started Instagram in 2012 or so. And it was very visual.
Yes.
All we did back then was just pictures and pictures. Now, I don't even know what Instagram is. For me, it was very easy. Take a photo, edit it, and post it. And then there's engagement, people reach out. It was a good form of advertising for the business.
Okay.
It still is, but of course, it's grown. Like as everything, it evolves. I control it. It's a tool that I use to promote the business of beauty, which is what I do. And I just try to, have a laugh and don't take things too serious. Yes, and I wish everybody would do that.
So, what lessons do you have for entrepreneurs out there who look up to you and who are trying to just find their foot in whatever industry they've selected?
I mean, after saying a lot, there are tools for you to be able to grow your business with. Instagram is one. Snapchat is one. In fact, I hear there's stores on Snapchat. People promote. So bottom line, whatever you're selling, these are tools that have been made available and it's cheap. Like I said, I didn't advertise mainstream. I didn't do TV, all of that. It was word of mouth and recommendations. And it's possible for you to grow that way. It's not until you eke out a budget for means that you're doing flyers. It's not. I didn't grow my business that way. I grew my business by doing the work, creating beautiful faces, selling products, making sure that the product's delivered high quality. If you sell bad stuff, you're going to be doing a lot of damage control. And after a while, even people that wanted to support you, once they realize that this one, it's not, they won't come again. And then it's a ripple effect. So whatever you're selling, let it sell itself. It should be a no-brainer to the people purchasing it. It should work. If it's going to cure something, it should cure it. If it's going to make them look beautiful, they should look beautiful without you having to explain that this eyeshadow, you may think it's not nice, but it's actually nice. It's not nice. Change it. So if you're starting a business, push yourself. Put your all into it. Find people who will support your dream and encourage you, but not lie to you. Find people that will tell you the truth. And once you have returning customers, you must serve them to death. I see myself and my team members as servants. We serve you. We're there to help and do what you want in terms of beauty. And of course, I think we're doing a good job because we have repeat business. And we're thankful for that.
Fantastic. Thank you for the advice. One last thing, when we're seated, you said you had a different view or opinion on legacy and business in Nigeria. What was that?
Okay, so you know how every business, they tell you, oh, your business should outlive you. You should put things in place so that when the person dies, it continues.
Continue to.
I just don't think that businesses in Nigeria are going to outlive anybody. So when you are here, you run it, you uphold those standards, and you enjoy the time that you have here. Do you know any business that once the proprietor died, it's continued? Can you tell me one?
Celebrations. I had him on the show. His dad has passed. That's the
His
gifting
dad.
company. Yeah.
His father.
Yes. His
No,
family.
don't
Okay,
talk
somebody
about-
that somebody that wasn't family.
That-
I have to go and research.
So like I say, when people ask me, I'm like, they're like, oh, so who's going to? I would hope that my children, my girls, would love makeup, but if they don't, You know, sometimes you ask them now, what do you want to be a YouTuber? What's that? Please. Yeah, what you say? But people are making big figures on YouTuber.
Millions of
But
dollars.
they're first professionals first before they fell into YouTube. But not that you now go to school and say, is that YouTube? They don't even teach it. But so for as legacies go, I feel like you want to be here, be excellent here. If you're lucky, you pass on to your children. But I don't think that Nigeria or the workforce in Nigeria is going to come and take your dream and run with it. No, you may be lucky to have people who when you're there, the dream, you know, everyone sees the dream, everyone has the drive. But once that owner goes,
Oh, I think one comes to my head now. But it was not just one founder, though. There's multiple Corona schools.
that one is yes.
Yeah, like many,
Okay.
a couple of women who came together. I think there's a man in there, I can't remember, but yeah, there's a couple of people who came together way before I was born and started the school. And the school is still...
So it's a collective. It's not
Yeah,
a,
it's a
it was not a
collective.
one-man person.
Yes,
There were
yes,
different angles to...
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, if you talk about schools, the Greenwood House as well.
But they're like
continues.
still under 5% of the entire
If you talk
businesses
about
in Nigeria.
fashion, which one?
I don't know of any.
Exactly.
No, fashion, I don't know of any. No.
But if you talk about fashion abroad, look
There
at
are
Versace.
many. Yeah.
They're still there. Alexander McQueen, it's still on. He's dead, but
It's still going.
it's still going. I think there's some Nigeria
something in the
is
culture.
Yes, that culture.
Yeah.
And because everyone tells the next person, do you want to die on someone's dream? I've heard that where people would tell my staff that, do you want to die on that? And then you, the person, you may actually start to feel bad for pushing this dream. But guess what? This dream is what's feeding everybody. So there's nothing wrong with pushing it. But sometimes when you have people who are always drumming things like that into your ear, and then you fall off and say, oh, you want to go and do it. Okay, no problem.
Same
so
journey.
legacies wise, your legacy, eat it. As you are here.
Leave it.
Enjoy it, grow it, thrive in it, but don't feel like you want to leave
Like
anything.
you have to.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to.
Okay, my final question is always a trick question.
Okay.
I put you on the spot, and I want you to estimate, guess, or if you have the actual number, how many faces have you beat in
my
your
goodness.
lifetime?
Wow. I don't even know. I used to count and do this yearly thing where we, appreciate people who've been there. But I've stopped that, and I honestly don't know.
Wild
Probably
guess.
maybe 20,000.
Wow, that's a lot of
That's a
faces.
lot. I've worked. I've done my work. I've done the work. It's. I'm proud of what I've done in the past because it's remained classic. It's remained timeless. I look at like I said, I look at some of those images, and they can still stand today. It's not like so bad that I'm thinking, what the heck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for
Thank you
having
for
me.
telling the story, and just sharing with us.
You're welcome.
All right, guys. I'll see you on the next episode of How They Did It. Peace out.